it's not entirely a gentrification. I don't feel it like that because at the same time, there's a benefit coming with the foreigners moving into this area. So I call it the pushification.
Pushification? Explain that.
And yes, there are some cases where the gentrification has affected a lot of businesses and locals, and there's like some signs that say like, we only speak Spanish. And I support it as a Mexican, but I also would like to educate in a different way. We have never been a country that is trying to push anyone away. Mexico is turning into an extremely powerful country, attracting all these new communities of digital nomads. But it's not only about the dollars. What do you have to bring that you're going to share with me that I'm going to be able to embrace and use it for myself? That's something that I really appreciate from these communities.
Now, let's go back to the cost of living part. Because there's always controversy when, how do you say it? The Northerners, the gringos, whatever words you want to use to describe people from United States and Canada and or Europe coming to Mexico, it brings the price up.
Absolutely.
And what does it do? And the word that we use, I guess they use in the US media, is gentrification. But to me, and from what I experienced, the gentrification in the United States, right, is different than the gentrification in Mexico because the people are local here. They originally owned the place. Yeah. Unlike the US where they were renting. They rented there. They never owned. So there's a little difference. It's still gentrification, but here it's a little bit more personal, I would say, because it's their home. This is where they're from. Well, so what is your opinion of it, and or the opinion of other people, the locals, with the prices going up, the blah blah blah, and you could be free to answer how you want. This is a free speech zone. We are no longer in Canada. We are no longer in the United States in which you have no free speech. So go ahead.
So I'm going to tell you the same thing that I usually open my stand-up comedy with. Like, you're in a third world country, so you're going to get third world country answers. Deal with it. I call it the pushification.
The what?
The pushification.
The pushification? Explain that.
Basically, what's happening is that the prices are rising, as you said, because the real estate has been booming in the area, right? So everybody's able to purchase things. Originally, as a foreigner, you were not capable of purchasing property so close to the ocean. I'm not entirely sure how that works, but now you know that you have seen, we have friends in common that owns apartments in places around the beach area. And of course, they are renting it not to us Mexicans, renting it to you and you and you and everybody that is trying to come, because they know you have the budget for that and you don't have the knowledge for that. So they're taking the advantage of the
gringos.
Yes, I don't want to say it like that, but that's the situation. So that eventually gets to push the Mexicans that have been making the city, thrive, work for so many years, because there's no access. We still get to make money in pesos. And as good as the peso is these days, I'm very proud of what's happening right now. We can still not compete entirely with a job in the US versus one in Mexico unless you get to have a really high position, right? So the average Mexican would make much less than the average American. So that is making everybody being pushed away.
The pushification.
So the pushification it's not entirely a gentrification. I don't feel it like that because at the same time, there's a benefit coming with the foreigners moving into this area. So I support both parts. Some of my Mexican fellows usually get to tell me that I am too much on the side of the foreigners, but I also been a foreigner in other countries myself. So I understand how it feels like trying to find new opportunities and actually finding them and now trying to do something out of them without hurting anyone. However, cultural differences, sometimes they just clash. That's the situation. In our situation, I think that the biggest issue is money, right? What also is happening, not only to me, but to other friends, which are also very young Mexicans, because I'm 42 years old. I'm a much older person than a lot of the Mexicans that are coming these days. They're learning so much. They are learning and they're getting so what's happening through the information that you are bringing to this area. Because I don't want to say anything wrong, but Mexico sometimes is receiving some information slower than other countries because I don't know how the flow works, especially in Playa, which is a very laid back place. Sometimes the information comes very slow. But with all the digital nomads, all these entrepreneurs, all these investors, online workers, we get to hang out in my PDC meetup.
Fridays at B Playa Hotel right now. It might be somewhere else, but make sure we're going to give you all his contact information, but go ahead.
So they get to meet people like you and our other friends, and they receive information. I didn't start doing everything that I'm doing just from scratch. I had friends that were teaching me how to think better. One of the people that taught me how to make better events, Giacomo Bonamico. Giacomo Bonamico is incredible person of Playa that you should also meet.
Okay.
Another great Italian connector of Playa. He's the one that actually took me under his wing and said, okay, let me help you out with your events. Let's just try to make it better. He taught me. I'm a very fast learner, so thank God I took as much as I could from the information he was doing. Eventually, we part our ways, but we're still really good friends these days. He has an incredible project with Tuscany, so keep your eyes open with these people. Shit's happening, Playa. And I continue with this. But just like Giacomo, I encounter so many other entrepreneurs, so many people with ideas and dreams that were sitting with me and say like, hey, this is what you're gonna do on Facebook. Hey, you can improve this, you can improve that. So I saved a lot of money on going just like to these new schools that they have in Mexico to try to teach people marketing and all of those things, just by being next to the people that I'm hanging out with, like yourself.
Okay.
So again, it's a win-win if we are able to teach people how not to spend the money like crazy just because they have it, because that actually pushes people away. That would be the ideal situation here. Because at the same time, I feel that everybody deserves an opportunity to come to Mexico, which is a wonderful place to live. There's aspects of this the country that I would like to change for the better, but it's still a wonderful place to live and have a family and businesses. And that's what I get to see. If we get to help everyone to get the right education on both ends, it's a win-win situation.
I agree with that, and I agree with your mindset. And coming from the United States, till this day, right now, it's super racially charged. It was constructed on extermination of a people, enslavement of another people, then put that codified into laws where people who look like me weren't even considered in their constitution as a human. I'm a constitutionalist. That means they want me back to being a 3/5 of a human. That's what I hear. That's what I heard. I'm saying all this is we come here like people who look like me, including white Americans, including white Canadians, mixed people, Arabic people, and we all feel like we're home. And we get treated like regular human beings here in Mexico. I've never had a cop bother me. Why do you think it's so safe for people like us and everyone here, and we feel welcome by Mexican people without feeling that racial tension that we're used to in the US or Canada?
I think I told you this at least once, and I think we are really good hosts. Mexico loves to have people coming from all other side of the wall, if you want to call it like that. And once you're here, we want to host you. We want to have you here. Everybody's welcome in this place. There's two ways to just get in trouble with Mexicans. Either you take the little things they have, that they have worked for, or you insult someone's mom.
Ay.
That's it.
Puta madre. No, we cannot do that.
I think other than that, we feel that everybody is welcome. We have never been a country that is trying to push anyone away. The situation with the gentrification in some other areas, because we're talking about Playa, but Mexico is turning into an extremely powerful country where all these mega companies are putting the eyes on, which is also attracting all these new communities of digital nomads. We're also now very happy to see more and more from the African American community are moving along with all this movement of digital nomads, right? And they're choosing Mexico City, Guadalajara, and all these places.
And here in Playa.
And yes, there are some cases where the gentrification has affected a lot of businesses and locals, and there's like some signs where say like, we only speak Spanish. And I support it as a Mexican, but I also would like to educate in a different way. But these things happen. However, in the big picture, I think everybody is always happy to see other people coming. And it's not only about the dollars. It's precisely what we already talked about. What do you have to bring that you're going to share with me that I'm going to be able to embrace and use it for myself? That's something that I really appreciate from these communities.
That is one of the best comments. Because I live by that, and
I call it the pushification.
Pushification. Explain that.
It's not entirely a gentrification.